Sherlock Holmes' most puzzling case. The watch that came back. It was a moonless night when Evelyn had not returned to Blackwood Manor since she was a child. Her uncle, the enigmatic Lord Reginald Blackwood, had summoned her urgently, his letter inked with cryptic words that sent a shiver down her spine. "Come at once. The hour is dire. Trust no one." The weight of those words had pressed upon her during the long journey, filling her mind with 1,000 dreadful possibilities. The manor loomed ahead, its once majestic facade now cloaked in ivy, its windows dark and hollow like the eyes of a forgotten soul. The massive oak doors creaked open before she could even knock, revealing the hunched figure of Ambrose, the aged butler whose somber gaze bore into her like a silent warning. "Miss Harrow," he intoned, his voice a mere whisper of its former strength. "His lordship awaits you in the study." She stepped inside, the scent of wax and aged parchment filling her nostrils. The dim corridors stretched into shadowy oblivion, and the flickering candlelight cast unsettling silhouettes against the walls. Evelyn's footsteps echoed eerily as she made her way to the study, where she found her uncle seated before the grand fireplace, his once imposing frame now frail, his fingers trembling as he clasped a worn pocket watch. "Evelyn," he rasped, his piercing gray eyes locking onto hers. "I feared you wouldn't come. Time is slipping through my grasp, and I must tell you the truth before it's too late." She knelt beside him, her hands clutching his as she whispered, "What is it, uncle? What secret haunts you?" He exhaled, his breath rattling. "Blackwood Manor is cursed, and so are we." A sudden crash from the hallway sent a shudder through the room. Evelyn spun around, her heart hammering. The shadows seemed to move, whispering secrets only the walls could understand. She turned back to her uncle, but he was no longer looking at her. His gaze was fixed beyond her shoulder, terror widening his pupils. "They're here," he gasped, and then, as if the life had been stolen from him, his head lolled to the side, his pocket watch slipping from his grasp onto the floor, its glass face shattering into 1,000 tiny stars. Evelyn stifled a cry, her hands trembling as she checked for his pulse. Nothing. A dreadful silence settled in the room, thick as the fog that swirled outside. The air grew colder, and the feeling of unseen eyes watching her sent a chill crawling up her spine. And then she heard it, a whisper, barely more than a breath, curling around her ear like a phantom's caress. "Leave now before it's too late." But it was already too late. As Evelyn turned, the shadows surged forward, and the nightmare truly began.
Whispering echoes.